Okay. Thank you everyone for joining in the 27th Gravitas Wins show. As I was saying this, we have every Thursday at 7 p.m. We discuss a topic that is related to building your career. Gravitas is about building competence and displaying confidence. So we will discuss a topic that is related to that. And if you want me to talk about any topic that you would like me to take, you can send it to me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and you can tell me. And you can watch all of the previous episodes on the YouTube channel, and I will send the YouTube channel also as we speak along. Okay. So again, thank you very much, and let's start. Okay. As I mentioned in the LinkedIn post, Richard Branson and almost everybody I know who are highly creative, highly proficient and prolific, they all carry a notebook. They all carry a notebook with them. And Richard Branson used to say this, he will walk around meeting the passengers, and whenever a passenger gives him some kind of an idea, he will go note it down and he will go and implement it. That's how he improved his business. And I was reading through, while preparing for this session, I was reading through and I saw that so many other people also, Mark Twain and Picasso, so many other people were also having this particular habit. One of my hobby is photography. In photography, we have this kind of a saying: the best camera that you have is the one that you carry all the time, right? In that particular sense, the best notebook that you can have is something that you can carry all the time with you. That is when, anytime you are going for a walk, you are waiting for shopping, anywhere, you can just pull up your note and then note down something, right? And it is always with you. So before we go there, I want to ask a couple of questions. I mean, it's going to be a lot more interactive as it is always. Whether you switch on your mic and answer, or you can put it on the chat. How many of you create something on a constant basis? It could be, you could be a public speaker, you could be creating documents, you could be creating a blog post. It could be any of those things. How many of you create on a regular basis? Anyone? You can switch it on and say, hi. Okay. Jesse, what do you create?
Workflowy.
Oh, thank you. So you are the developer for Workflowy.
Yeah, I'm the founder. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to have you. I didn't expect this. This is a honor. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
hopefully I take your baby in a really, really smooth way. And
I'm gonna. Yeah. If you don't, I'm just gonna delete your account. It better be good.
Thank you very much. And very nice. This is the first time I'm having this, so it's fantastic. Thanks, Jesse, for joining in. Okay. So other than Jesse using Workflowy to create Workflowy, anyone else joining? Anyone else create something on a regular basis? And what do you use? Yeah, Divanshu.
Yeah, so being a developer and a designer and a social media, I'm helping post since the pandemic hit. So I took up digital marketing as well. So yeah, so creating, you use Canva, you use Photoshop, and for app development, you use Xcode. So it is like creating workflows, a lot of scribbling on paper, because I have this habit of having a paper and a pen always on my desk, because you have to work on the workflow and everything. So yeah, that's one thing that I think of myself as a creator.
Okay, thank you. Xavier, what do you use?
I use Obsidian, part of my daily work and my personal book notes and everything.
Okay. Yogesh, yeah, tell me, what do you use?
So it is more of like one physical Kanban board I use to write a lot of things, whatever I need to do, like for a week, for every day. I mean, I try to prioritize the thing. I try to visualize the work I'll be delivering or creating for my own, or for the assignments I've been given from my company. So
Okay.
a physical board is what I've
Okay.
created.
Physical, Obsidian, work-related tools like Xcode and other things.
Sure.
I create a blog post every week and I send out a newsletter every week. Every Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. Indian Standard Time, I send out a newsletter. When I have to send out a newsletter regularly, I have to write. I have to create a lot of output. Now, I face 3 problems whenever I have to create certain things. The first one is starting trouble. Whenever my sister and I talk, my sister is here on the call, Joyce, and whenever we discuss, one of the first thing that comes in is starting trouble. I would know this is broadly what I have to write, but I would be like, I don't know what to write. Starting trouble. Okay, so that's one. 2, okay, maybe I will, search Google and find out something, some topic. Then the second problem that I have, as I start writing, monkey mind. I'm jumping from one to the other, and I'm kind of confused. And I'm overwhelmed by the information that are coming in. So those are the 3 problems that I face. And when I talk to other creators, they tell me also something similar is what they face. The first one is, I don't know what to write and I am freezing, write a blog, what they call, it could be starting trouble. That's the first thing. Second thing is, as I said, monkey mind. As you start writing, I can also write about that. I can also talk about that. And then, monkey mind. And the third one is when I have researched everything and I have put it into a notepad or any other tool, Evernote, any other tool that I have, I am overwhelmed by all the information that I have, right? So those are the 3 problems that I have. And I'm going to show you how I use Workflowy to control all the 3, and also how I use Workflowy for all the other things as well, okay? And let me share. So I hope you are able to see my browser. So this is what you will see when you come to Workflowy. Nothing, simple. A bullet point. That's all you have. It's an outliner. Workflowy by default is an outliner. And you can go on creating, many of the bullet points. It's empty. Now, say for example, again, let's say for example, I'm preparing for this particular session, and I'm saying, the problems faced while writing. Now, when I see a whole page of document as a blank, then there is overwhelming thing, paralyzing thing that comes into your mind, right? And I will show you how I control that. But before that, because it's an outliner, what I can do, I can go into this, I can zoom in on this, and then I can say, okay, what are the problems that could happen? Now, I am only thinking, I'm zooming in, and I'm only thinking about what are the problems while writing. And I can, at a very high level, I can talk about what are the problems that I'm facing. Maybe write a blog. Maybe monkey mind. And maybe overwhelmed, right? Now, within this is a very high level. Within this, I can keep writing only that particular thing. So say for example, I can go in and talk only about monkey mind. Now, when I think about it, I'm zooming in and I'm saying, okay, this is only thing that I'm discussing. The only thing that I have to think about. Generally what happens when I'm writing something new and I have to think in these kinds of outline, I don't sit in front of my computer. I take my mobile, I take a walk, and it is easy for me to type it on the mobile. So say, for example, like this, it will come in. And the one thing that I like in Workflowy, it has mobile app as well as desktop app. And the browser, it works on browser as well as on the mobile app. And both of the mobile apps are native. And because of that, there is a really, really good sync feature as well. And I can start on the on anything. I can start on the mobile and I can come to the desktop, or I can start on the desktop, I can come to the mobile. And for me, when I'm walking, I can't obviously sit and type the entire article. It is very easy for me to just outline things when I am walking. When I say walking, maybe I'm walking in the house, maybe I'm walking in the park, wherever it is, right? It is very easy for me to do it. So I'm going to do, say for example, I am on my mobile and I'm going to type this, okay? So I'm on my mobile and I'm walking. Imagine that I'm walking. Okay, you can see that it'll come in, right? It has almost an instant sync. This is what I like. Otherwise, all the other things, you'll have to use Dropbox, you have to use some other mechanism to bring in. It almost has a very instant sync. So all of that comes in. And one another feature that I like in this is somehow I've not found conflicts. Very good conflict resolution. I don't know how that happens. Again, maybe Jesse can explain that. But I don't know how that happens. But I've never seen a conflict that I had to resolve. It's very easy. So because of this, I can start in one place and I can take over in another desktop and I can continue to work on it. It makes it very easy for me because, as I said, I think better when I'm walking, and I will take my mobile with me and I will note it down on my mobile. And when I come back to my desktop, now I have an outline. And now it becomes a lot more easier to control that particular thing, and I can start writing. Now here, as you can see, I am only talking about monkey mind, which is I'm zooming in into one particular topic, but I can also zoom out and see an overall picture. What I like here is whenever I want, I can zoom in. I can use a telescope or I can use a microscope. Both features are possible in Workflowy. This is one thing that I love it, because then my mind I'm able to control my mind, creative mind, into doing only one thing, or I can go and say, okay, these are all the things that are there, right? So let me delete it as for this particular session. I removed everything. So I actually made a, okay, so these are all of these are all in my, so these are all in my Workflowy as such. So I'll reorder this later. I deleted all of them, or rather I put all of them under one particular bullet point and completed it for this particular session, but I'll come back to it, okay? Now,
just a question, please.
Yeah.
Is it similar to mind map, or is it a different thing?
In a way, you can say it is similar to mind map. Yeah, you can say that it is mind map, but as I go through, I hope you will get it that it is a lot more than mind map, and also it is primarily text. I think also visually, but it helps me. I'm primarily a text person also, so it's primarily text.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, as most of you know, who are all regulars, you will know that I go through a framework called WINS, Wealth, Insights, Network, Self-Control. That's my primary focus almost every time, right? So you can see that. So as I said, it has been reordered a bit, but this is how I see. So I have a vision, and I took this particular session also. I have a vision: projected, plausible, possible, and preposterous. So that's my vision that I always keep in my mind. So what should I do? That's my vision. And then when I come into action, this is my daily logs and so on and so forth. I'll go into that. So at the top level, this is all that I'm looking at, right? That's all. So when I go in, this is all that I'm looking at. And then from here, I can branch into whatever that I want to do. Whether I am doing about wealth, whether I'm doing about insights, and whether I want to call network, any of those kinds of stuff. So from a top level, when I get up, when I start working, I am limiting myself to work within this particular contour. So I am already limiting my mind to say, okay, think only in these aspects. Now for you, it might be different. It might be, say for example, for Yogesh, it might be testing, strategy, hiring, and he might have those bullet points at the top level. For me, these top levels are these kinds of stuff: wealth, insights, network, and self-control, okay? And I'm going to go one by one. And I told you how I'm able to be productive. One of the things that I do, and again, which I have spoken multiple times in these sessions, is on insights, I use two things. One is consume. I either read or I listen or I watch. So that's consume. And then what I produce. Produce is Twitter threads, talks I go for, or these kinds of webinars that I have, and so on and so forth, right? So I also have a podcast, all of those things. So I have that. At some point in time, I'm always learning something. So on the consumption side, I might have what are the concepts I'm learning. So as you can see, public speaking, work from home, talent acquisition, what are the different things, mental models like barbell strategy, what are the digital trends that are going on, right? All of those things I'm able to, so these are the topics. So I can go in and you can see here, I can go to storytelling here and I'm only thinking about storytelling here now, not anything else. But I can also zoom out and go back to the topics that I want to do. So this zooming in and zoom out becomes a lot more easier in Workflowy. I have not seen this in any other tool, whether it is Evernote or Obsidian. I use both of them as well, but I have not been able to see that. So here I'm able to see that, right? So I can zoom in and zoom out, and I'm able to see this. Okay, so now let me go in and I'll tell you. So every morning I go for a jog, and when I go for a jog, I will listen to something. And here you can see, so Overcast is my app. So I will put in the URL and I will make the main points. After I'll take like say for example, I might jog for 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, I might stop and I might take a break. At that time, I will note it down. Or when I come back, I'll note it down. Only major points, not everything. Only major points. So today it went on for almost about 1.5 hours, like the podcast, the one that I'm talking about, Zoom Info. But I only have these many points, which I remember kind of a thing, right? So when I have this, the advantage is whenever I want to write something, I told you, looking at a blank page is overwhelming. It's tough. I don't know what to write. But when I have so much, anytime I want to write about something, I have enough of material in Workflowy. All that I had to do is probably pick it up and start, start organizing it. So not only this, right? Not only podcast. I have you can see while reading a book or talking to somebody, I would have listened to something, I will note it down, right? So as you can see here, the 3 things: product, pitch, and price. Like say for example, for my course, Gravitas Wins. So when I was talking to somebody, they said, okay, product, these are the 3 things that are important. What's your product? What's the pitch that you have? And what's the price point that you are selling? Those are the 3 things that are important. I would have noted down. And you can see, there's a ton of things that I have noted it down like this. Now, when I have all of this information, any topic that I want to write, obviously the topic that I want to write will be limited to the topics that I am interested in, right? Like gravitas, which is about career development. How do you develop your competence? How do you display your confidence, and so on and so forth, right? So in all of those things, I will have all of this information here, and then all that it takes is search when I have this information. Now, Workflowy has an amazing search. I'll come to that. But because of the corpus that I have, it becomes a lot more easier for me to start creating. Okay? Yeah, Josper, what's your question, please? Josper?
I'm sorry. I just raised my hand by mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so as you can see, because I'm consuming, there is a lot of information that is already with me. Then writing it becomes a lot more easier, right? So that's the first thing from an insight point of view. And I'm going to tell you, in 2 weeks from now, I have a talk that I have to give. And as you can see, I am already tagging stories, data. And I can go on, search on those things, tags alone, and it'll give me everything to do with stories. So 10craft is something that happened. I mean, 10craft is, ZoomInfo CEO was talking about this. They built tents for outdoor events. But because of COVID, they had to, there were no outdoor events happening. So either they had an option of shutting down or pivot into something else. So they pivoted into pitching tents for these vaccination centers and how it went and everything that he was talking about. It's a story that I have noted it down. Anytime I have to give a talk, now all that I have to click is stories, and I will have all the stories in my corpus, and I can pick up the story that I want, right? So I don't have to remember all of those stories. Every story I heard everywhere, I don't have to remember. As long as it is all in my Workflowy, click on stories, I will have a list of all the stories and I can take it. So it forms as an augmented brain for me. I don't remember everything. I don't have to remember everything. It becomes an augmented brain for me. Similarly on data, and this can be in every other thing also. I'm going to give you a couple of more examples how I use this tags and everything. But so this is how it is. So from an insight point of view, generating insight is primarily of two mechanisms. One is consume. You read from outside, you listen to other podcasts, you attend webinars like this. So that's one. Two, you produce something, which is what, Sumit used to do. He will, as we go on, he will summarize everything and go and post it on LinkedIn, right? So that's how you produce something. Now, Sukhvinder has started doing that. So Sukhvinder, thank you very much for that. So Sukhvinder has started doing that. And when you write, you are listening to something, but when you produce something else, that is when you are connecting in your neurons, whatever that you have learned. That becomes a lot more solidified in your brain, okay? So I consume, so which is what you can see here, and then I produce also. So these are all the produce, right? I have all of these things. And so say for example, for Gravitas Wind Show. So for this particular session, I have prepared, and you can see all of these things are prepared like this. So it's all here. So it becomes a lot more easier for me, and it's all only bullet points. Then I can go and talk. But for me, this becomes a lot more easier, right? I have produced all of these things. Now I talked about insight. The other one that I do a lot is networking, talking to people, getting to know people, what they do, and so on and so forth, okay? But again, I don't know how many of you have this particular problem. Sometimes I'll forget everything. Say, for example, I might be talking to Yogesh, and he might have told me he's working as a tester, he's working in this particular company, this is my son's name, all of those things he might have told me. Next time when I call him, I would have forgotten everything. I don't know how many of you have that particular problem. I have that particular problem. So what do? I transfer all of that information to this, my Workflowy. So let's go, network. So you can see all of these guys are in my network. This is not all my contacts. My contacts might be 1,000, but these are the people whom I am in regular touch, and I want to be in regular touch, and I'm talking to them often, and so on and so forth, okay? So these are all the people whom I have to be in touch. I divide them into 3 categories. Type A is something that I want to be in touch often, every week, every month, maybe every 15 days. I'm talking to them, I am calling them, I'm emailing them, maybe I'm getting on a Zoom call with them, and all of those kinds of stuff. That's type A first. They are very important for me. Type B is still important, but we are kind of losing touch. So that's type B. Type C is better be like I'm in touch with them. Don't lose their contacts. So those are type C. Okay. And as you know, I run a course called Gravitas Wins. So then who are the Gravitas Wins students? So that's the second category. And then I also Hindu, Muslim thing that I have, so that whenever there is a festival, I can go and greet them accordingly, because again, I will forget, right? So when I immediately think of Christian, probably I will think of 1 or 2 and then I'll forget. But rather when I have this, then I can go and greet them, right? And then I have few other categories like entrepreneurs. Now, I'll show you how this works for me, how this helps for me, okay? So let's say, for example, I click on entrepreneur. This is a tag. I have already tagged these people. I have already tagged some of them. So I click on entrepreneur, and you can see it has already given me the list of entrepreneurs. Okay, so if there is something that I read an article, let's say for example, I read an article which is all about entrepreneurship, and I want to forward it to somebody. Okay, I have this now. I can click on and then say, okay, these are the people whom I want to forward it to, right? Or any other aspect of it. So let's say for example, I want to send something to all my Gravitas Win students. So these are all the Gravitas Win students. So all of these guys are here. Then I can go in and then I can see that, right? So as I told you, type A. So again, I have this list. I can go in and say, did I talk to them recently? If I have not talked to them, what should I do? You know, all of those things I can take it. So this becomes a lot more easier. It augments, it tells me, it prompts me, it nudges me to keep in touch with these many people, right? So this is about network. Now you will see this is another great feature that has been introduced recently, and I love this. You can see Ashwini Selvaraj, there are 3 backlinks. That means there are 3 references to Ashwini. I have made contacts or made notes about Ashwini outside of this particular network, outside of her own notes, right? So there are 3 backlinks. That means I've already talked to her, or I have emailed her, I've communicated with her, and I've noted down all of those things, okay? So you can see Nitin, 3 backlinks. Now, when I'm going to talk to Nitin, I can go see that, and I will remember what are the discussion that I had earlier. And for me, then it becomes a continuity of the previous discussion, right? And I'm going to give you an example. So I told you I'm a guy who, forget things, right? So you can see here, Gravitas Win student, Hindu, Tamil. So if there is a Tamil festival, I can greet him. If there's a Hindu festival, I can greet him. If I'm anything to do with Gravitas Win students community, then I can go and contact him. I have his LinkedIn community URL, and I have noted down his daughter's name. So now next time when I call him, I can ask him, how is Moshika? And when you talk about their daughters, sons, and everything, they're always going to be surprised. How do you know? How do you remember? No, I don't remember all of those things. It's all in my workflow, right? So likewise, for everybody, I have noted down as many details as possible. And if at all I call you and I don't remember any of the details, that means I'm talking outside of my workflow, or that information is not captured in my workflow. That's why I'm fumbling, right? So when you have all of these things, it becomes a lot more easier to keep networking, to keep building that relationship, keep nurturing that particular relationship. And as Dharmesh Shah said, who is the CTO of HubSpot, he said this, the probability of your success depends on the number of people who wants you to succeed. That number of people is your network, right? So why would somebody want me to succeed? Because I have invested myself in making them successful. So here I have everything. I will go talk to him regularly, and whenever he has problem, he will talk to me, and then we both are invested in each other, right? So when he wants me to succeed, when I want him to succeed, we both will succeed. So Workflowy helps me in that. So let me give you another example, okay? So this week, not this week, last week, I spoke to a major general. So I spoke to a major general. Now, Neeraj Bali. Now I have noted down all of these details: LinkedIn, his Twitter, his website, all of these things I have noted it down, right? And I have said, these are the information, and I have noted down few other things also, but then it is hidden here. Now, what I have done, because I've talked to him, but I don't want him to forget me, and I don't want to forget him. So I have already put in, call him on some date, 3 months from now. Again, Workflowy has a fantastic feature on dates where I can say, let's say, for example, I'm going to the top, or maybe I'll be here, network, and I can say, okay, let me go to the top one because there's none. It has a feature, you can see here, when I put in this week, it's in a natural language, right? I don't have to put in date. It's a natural language. When I put in, it brings everything for this particular week. So say, for example, I say, okay, I'm in November, and I'm saying, okay, whom should I call on November? And it'll bring that out. On that particular day, November 12th, I'll put in today, and it'll bring this in. And I can call him, or I can email him, or whatever that I can do, right? So that on a regular basis, I'm in touch with him. And I will make that particular note. You can see that there's one backlink because I spoke to him, and you can see here, when you do that, see it is here, right? So on August 5th, I have spoken to him, talked to Neeraj as part of Coffee Mug, and yada, yada, yada. Now I know all of this information. Then when I talk to him next, there will be a continuity in our discussion. I'll ask him, I will note down, all of those questions as well, and I can talk to him about as a continuation of whatever discussion that I had, and then he's going to appreciate whatever I have stored, and for me also it becomes a lot more easier, right? So, and when I'm talking to Neeraj, I'm only I can go into this, and I'm only looking at Neeraj, and this I can do the same thing on my mobile also. So it becomes a lot more easier to zoom in, focus only on him, understand, and maybe before I go and talk to him, I'll click on his LinkedIn profile, see if there are any updates, and then I can talk about his updates, or I go to his Twitter, what he has tweeted recently, and I can talk about it. All of those things becomes easier. So it makes it a lot more, or rather, Workflowy facilitates me, it augments me to keep building the relation on a continuous basis. And then, over the period, your network is your net worth, and I'm increasing my net worth by doing this, right? So that's, so I talked about it, right? And I can go on, again, I have all of these things. As I said, type A, then I can go in and say, okay, who are the people I have talked, I have not talked, what should I do? And all of those things I can do. Okay, so this is from a network. Do you have any questions so far? Any questions? Anyone?
Joseph,
before I move on?
I have a question.
Yeah, Deva.
So my question is regarding these tools, Joseph. I think Workflowy, whatever I have seen of Workflowy is great, and I really love the product. But then as an individual, say when I started capturing notes on Evernote, right? So I built my entire information, like whatever I gathered, right? I organized it there. Like a year back, I came across Notion, which is another fantastic tool.
Yeah.
So I started gathering knowledge there because it offered like certain functionalities which were not there in Evernote. Similarly, now as I see Workflow, it is adding more features on top of what Notion is, right? It is more intelligent, more smart. correct? So how do you take your knowledge from one tool to another as you progress in your journey of producing, consuming, and like acquiring knowledge, right? How do you think about this?
Okay, first of all, I think Workflowy has been, it is not that I think, Workflowy has been there before Notion. Workflowy came in, probably the development stopped because it had a full-fledged features, and then the development probably stopped, and then kind of people forgot about it. But I've been using Workflowy for quite some time. Probably I'm one of the early adapters. So that's one. Two, use the tool that is appropriate for the task that you are doing. So I'm not able to get Notion, I don't know why, but I use Evernote, Workflowy, and Google Docs. And there are different feature set that I want. So say, for example, I want to write a long document, then it is almost always Google Docs, and I will share that with others. And I'm able to share it with others, and I'm able to get feedback on it. Yes, Workflowy also I can share, and I'm going to show you that. But getting comments from that is a lot more easier if it is in a Google Doc. So the first thing that I would say is I don't look at one tool to be all, that everything can be done in that particular tool. So I don't look at it that way. That's one. Two, yes, say for example, from Evernote, I've come to Obsidian. From Obsidian, I am moving to Workflowy, or rather I'm trying to use both of them. Some of them are still in Google Docs, but mostly it's all either Obsidian or Workflowy. Both of them are, it is there. This is particular to me, Devang. I'm not saying this is how you need to do it. This is how I am doing it. I somehow don't transfer from one to the other. They are all there, and I start using this as whatever tool that I'm having. I will start using that from that particular point in time. And if at all it is needed, depending on how the import-export functionality works, I will import it only what is needed at that particular point in time, because over a long period of time, there's also it becomes a lot more heavy, more than what is needed for you. So then I bring in only that is needed, not everything. So that's how I think about it.
Got it.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay. So we talked about insights, how I generate insights. We talked about the network, and I want to talk to you about action. So these are all fine in the vision, the insights is all fine, but every day you are doing something. I was interviewing a person called Rishabh Garg, and I have heard this particular notion, an idea from Jim Collins, who is a management consultant. But once Rishabh Garg mentioned it, again, I started adopting it. One of the thing is daily logs. So in the daily logs, so I write, every day, what are the things that I've done? So these are the icons that I have. Was I productive? Then I will put this in. Did I work on a vision item? Something that I have for 3 years, for Gravitas Wins, for me, for the company. So did I work on a vision item? And yes, I worked on a vision item, but the outcome is also seen. So something to celebrate. Somebody paid me. Somebody joined the Gravitas Wins course, and so on and so forth, right? So outcome that is seen. Or, did I take a refresh? Did I refresh on a particular day? Now, as you can see, so you can see here, right? So there are days, Fridays are primarily my project review days. So it is not much productive. So it's just neutral. But then there is something to celebrate there. I don't want to go in because it has all the other details as well. But you can see now, the point is, the more number of days that I have like this productive and I'm working on a vision item, I feel good. It's good. Because some days it is going to be like this, that it is not productive, and I'm going to feel frustrated. I'm not going to feel very happy. But then I can look at this as a telescope at a high level. I'm not bad. This week I have done quite a good. Today, Friday is not good, but other days it is okay. So I can say that to myself. If I'm going every day and only focusing on that particular day, then probably I'll get frustrated. Today I'm not able to do it. Some other day I'm done so much, and then I'm kind of leaping out of joy, and so on and so forth, right? So some of these days I'm wondering what the hell is happening. Am I doing the right thing? There are too many questions running in my mind. So then, I'm thinking about it. Today I went for jogging, so there's some bit of jogging. Today I finished a book that I was reading, so that's the book. So there is something for insight, and also the podcast that I listened, Zoom Info. It was a fantastic podcast, so I liked it. So that's a consumption. So that's something for your brain, something for my brain. So I put that in, right? So I can, on an overall level, I can look at it and say, okay, these are the things that have happened. Okay. Now, in addition to it, I also conduct retros, monthly and weekly retros. Every week, how did that go? Was it good? Did I move the vision item a little forward? Did I get some feedback? Did somebody like the video that I shared? Did my videos cross quite a good number of views? Any of the outcomes that are seen? I bring all of them here. And then, I have this weekly retros and the monthly retros as well. So then over the year, I can see, okay, did I make a progress? Where did I fail? What are the things that are working? What are the things that I need to put 10x on? Things that are working and moving me forward towards the vision item. Then can I work on it 10x, more on it? I can look at all of those things. Again, as I said, I can look at it as a year, or I can zoom in into that particular date, and I can see what I did on that particular date, right? So I'm able to do that in Workflowy. No other tool has helped me to do that. And that is why I like this particular thing, okay? And then I'm going to talk about the backlinks. So let's say, for example, so I'm just making another note here, which I can drag and drop into anything else also. Say, for example, I say today, so you can see here, it pops up. Corona is in network. You can see there is network. Under network, Corona I'm already have. So I'm saying Corona attended the session, right? So say, for example, I make this, and this works on mobile also immediately. Now, when I click on it, when I go to Corona, then you can see here, this is already there. And quickly, when I'm talking to Corona, then I can go in, oh, okay, these are the things that have happened. I can pick it up from there, and I can go in and talk to him. So you can see here, he has attended the 26th session also. Today also he has attended, and that's why I put in as supporter, right? Because, he's a fantastic supporter for me. Thank you, Corona, for that. So this is how the backlink works. Yeah, Yogesh, you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to take a look on tags as well. How have you applied tags? Because there is something which can really make a thing like wiki.
So tags, tags, right? Tags is what you are saying.
That's right.
Okay, so for tags, I'll go to network. So these are some tags that I have, type A, type B, as I explained to you, and then different kind of categories of people that I'm in touch with. And for each of them, I would have put in, okay, this guy's from sales, this guy's from he's a Hindu, this is this, and then I click on it, and it'll search and bring me all of those things.
Okay. I just wanted to know how you apply that. You'll have to just write, hash and the tag in front of everything, whatever you are writing.
Yeah. Exactly, okay. Exactly.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So these are my planners. Okay. So for every decision I take, it's all under action. Every decision I take, again, it's all here. So buying an iPad Pro, I can quickly see this is the template that I have. What's the context? What are the driving forces? What are the variables at play? What are the options that I considered? What are the possible outcomes? And final decision and retro. After 6 months, I do that, right? So I can likewise, I note down all of the decisions, and then I can go back and say whether I'm making right choices over a very long period of time. And every year I can go and say, okay, these are the decisions that I made. These are the decisions that worked out really well. These are the decisions that didn't work out, and because of this particular reason. So all of those things, as I said, this is the digital brain. All of these things are put into Workflowy, and because I can take it anywhere, mobile and everywhere. Say for example, I'm meeting Vibor on a Starbucks. Suddenly I'm meeting him, and I can pull up my note. Okay, what are all the interaction that I had with Vibor, and I can go and talk to him, right? So all of those things becomes possible because of this. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So I already talked about, you can search on anything. So say for example, I say culture. Now you can see here, it is already, so say for example, I'm going to talk about culture. I want to write about culture, or somebody has invited me to talk about culture, which is what, like, I mean, a lot of times people are interested in nowadays. Now you can see here, I have so much information about culture here. Now all that I had to do is pick this up, push into one another note, one another bullet point, and I can start editing this. So I told you when I started this session, sometimes you have a writer block. You don't know what to write. It's a blank page. Now I can go search for anything, and hopefully I have collected something, and then I can pick up that. I can go through them. You can see here, right? I can go through them, and that's it. And now this forms the basis from which I can start writing all the other articles, right? So anything, say for example, confidence, if I want to talk about, again, like, I mean, there are so many things that I have written about. Say for example, pricing. So I've written something about pricing, right? So these are some of the things that I have, and for any of the topic that is related to me, I have corpus of notes with me, bullet points with me. All that I had to do, drag and drop into a newer thing, and then from there I can go on writing. It becomes a lot more easier, right? I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not panicking that it is not there, right? I don't have data. I don't have fundamentals to do. All of them are here, and it becomes a lot more easier for me to do. Okay. Now, it also has a sharing feature, and I'm going to do that for a minute. Hold on a minute. So what I'm going to do, I should show that to you. So produce Gravitas Win show. So this is the one, and I'm going to share this, and I can share it. Either I can share it to a specific people, or I can say, okay, everybody who has this link can see this, and they can either have a full access. I'm going to say can view, and I do a copy. I'm saying, like, I mean, this is the thing. So I'm going to put that in, and of course I will remove it after a certain point in time. I mean, after all of this is over. And now if you click on it, and if you have a Workflowy account, you can click on it, and you can copy all of this content into yours. So it becomes, again, sharing notes that we are sharing. It becomes easier to share and collaborate, right? So that I can share. So say for example, I take a session, Gravitas Wins course, or any other session that I'm taking. I'm going for a talk, and I want to share some information with them. I can put it in. I can share during that particular talk. People can access it. After some point in time, I can remove it, right? So it becomes a lot more easier. In fact, I do this every time. Every Sunday I go to a church. I listen to a message. I will note down that message, and I will share it with everybody who has, my church members. That becomes a lot more easier. Okay. So that's on the sharing. So we talked about content, search. The search really works either is a tag. So you can so all the women whom I know, all of those things I can do. And in fact, you can have multiple things also. So in Gravitas Wins students who are all the women. So I can filter on any of those things as well. And then dates also. This week I can do today, this week. So what I do end of the week, Sunday, every Sunday, I do a retro. So I can say this week, it is not, it's going to pull up everything. And then from there, I can review and then say, okay, fine, this week was good, not so good, and so on and so forth, okay? And say, for example, and all the tools that I use, I also have. And then, say, for example, there is I get an opportunity, to talk to Jesse as here. So I also, I can quickly say, okay, these are the things that I would need, right? So, I never thought I would have an opportunity like this, but I'm already ready. I can have a meaningful conversation with him, right? So he knows that I have used these tools, and I'm a heavy user, and I need all of these kinds of things. Then our conversation can be a lot more meaningful. So it's not like, some random stuff or a general stuff that I can talk about. So as I said, Workflowy is something that I use daily, and it helps me a lot to be productive, to build my network, to build a lot of relations. And I didn't show anything about wealth, but I use it to capture everything about investment, the information that I have about the investments that I make, and also why I should invest in a particular, I told you about the decision making, right? So why I should invest in a particular stock or a particular asset, I note down all of that. And then I'm able to review it after 6 months, 1 year, and say, hey, I made certain assumptions, is that right? And if that assumption changes, then should I sell it? Should I keep it? I can decide that. So all of those things goes into Workflowy. And then I don't have to remember all of those things. So I am stress-free. I don't have to be anxious about, oh my God, I'm going to forget. Oh, I have a talk. What should I talk? I don't have to bother about any of those things. All of them are in Workflowy. I can go and pick it up. Okay? Hopefully this is a useful session. Let me know if you have any comments.
I have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, Jesse, go ahead.
This is all, this is like, I have questions about the other tools you use and how we could, whether or not, does anyone else have questions first? Because I don't want to, this might be a little specific.
Okay, anyone has any questions? But Jesse, I hope I've done a fair amount of in displaying a Workflowy.
It's great. It was really cool to watch.
Okay.
Yeah. It reminds me that the stuff we've already done is meaningful. Cool. So you mentioned about Google Docs that you use that in part because you can't get comments easily in Workflowy, and I'm wondering if we had a better comments feature, would you be more likely to use it? I also assume that writing in paragraphs and having something look like a document would be needed, but I guess I'm wondering, is there an opportunity to take over that role that you use Google Docs for?
Yeah, we can discuss that, Jesse. I always debate about these two things, okay? Workflowy, the thing that I like in Workflowy is that small set of features, but it works awesome. And I don't want this to be Notion. I don't want this to be Evernote. I don't want this to be Google Doc, right? But if you can bring in that common feature within that simplicity model that you already built in, why not? Pick it up.
But would you, okay. So because from my perspective, you don't want it to be Notion or whatever, but you also displayed a lot of features that we've built, And so I think we go about building features in a way that is simple, minimal, and non-intrusive. So I would place you in the category of users who appreciate the simplicity and assume that adding more features will make it less simple, but I don't think it actually does. So let's just say, I am curious what is it that brings you to Google Docs? What type of thing would you do in Google Docs you could never imagine you would never do in Workflowy?
Okay, before I answer, we have only about 3-4 minutes. So can I take other questions? And I'm happy to.
I was imagining that we would talk afterwards when no one said that. Yeah, I would love, that's what I would prefer.
I don't mind jumping on a call with you, spend an hour, answering all of those things. Hey, Darius, yes, please, your question.
Hi, I'll be intrigued to talk about Google Docs as well, but my question is about reoccurring tasks. So you talked about reminders for your contacts. I've never thought about using Workflow for contact management, but for things like I remind myself to call mum every 2 days or call so-and-so every week, and other people, you call them type A, type B, every month. I've tried to use Workflow for that and dates, but I've actually gone to using Todoist because of the reminders and the natural language input. So I was just wondering about people's experiences of using Workflowy for task management, or is it better to use a dedicated task manager app?
Okay.
I know that some people, they use hashtag task, hashtag P1 for priority one. So I just want to know your thoughts and experiences of using Workflow for task management. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Darius. I'll only tell you, what works for me. I use, Todoist for everything to do with the tasks. Here, everything about these things, right? In the wealth, insights, network, and self-control. So those are the things that are in Workflowy. And whenever I call a person, because it is not all contacts that I have. This is not my professional day-to-day work that I have to do. This is building my network, my relations. And I want that to be very purposeful, very conscious. And so when I call somebody, I don't want an automation here. I put in, okay, call them next time 3 months later, 2 weeks later. I want to be purposeful in this. I want to be conscious of it. So I don't think Workflowy has a recurring, automated things, but that I like because, again, as I said, this is my relationship that I want to build. So this works great for me. Okay. Yeah, Ashwini, question?
Yeah, thanks, Joseph, for introducing this tool. I already tested it, works well. I'm more of a paper and a pencil person. I take my notes in my iPad, and I actually tested it out. It works really well, getting all those notes converted into text. How about like, if I draw an image, does that, can I, add it to that bullet point? Is that allowed? I couldn't do that actually.
No. You can. Just give me a minute. So let's say, for example, produce. So in fact, you can embed quite a lot here. Okay. So you can see here. So last week, the people who came in, I took a screenshot. I can put this in. So you can attach a screenshot. You can't draw here. It is not a drawing application. You can't draw, but you can embed a image here. So that's one. Okay. And you can put in the, when you paste YouTube link, it will automatically embed that as well. So you can have that. So everything about the last week, whether it was the topics, who are all the attendees, so that, I can go and invite them again. All of that information is here. So including, which is the link, all of those things, all of them are here. So yes, you can do that. You can embed an image, or you can embed a YouTube video also.
Okay. Thanks, Joseph.
Hopefully that answered your question. Yes, Yogesh.
Okay, thank you. It is not like a question, but I've seen a movie called Harry Potter, and there was a memory pot inside. So it is more of like a pot where you can put all your memories or thoughts in it, and whenever you want that, you can put, pull it up and use that. So I was thinking about there should be something which can be used as like wiki for our mind. So it seems like I've got the answer. So Workflowy can be something like that, I guess, right?
Yeah, at least I use it. I've not seen that movie, so I can't really, answer that. But yes, I use it in that particular fashion. This is my digital brain. This is my augmented brain. I can put
that is what I thought of,
here.
like a digital brain. Exactly. This is what I thought of, like a digital brain where I can access my brain outside of my brain.
Yeah. So you can sign up. I put in a link. It's a affiliate link, referral link, not an affiliate link, referral link. So you can sign up with this. And as I said, all of these videos are streamed to the YouTube channel. And I would appreciate if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will see all of these links. And I also have a newsletter every Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time. I send out a newsletter, everything to do with Gravitas wins. As I said, Gravitas, everything to do about Gravitas. So if you can subscribe, that would be wonderful as well. Okay. Thank you very much for joining in. I really appreciate. I didn't expect the developer, the founder of Workflowy will join, but it is nice to have you, Jesse. Nice to have everyone else as well.